Hey, this is Johnny from Sequester Farms, and we just talked to government giving us money to grow bull kelp.
Now my hair is long, my beard untrimmed, rock is getting thin, water's getting warmer. I'm a hippie kelp farmer, I'm a hippie kelp farmer, I'm a hippie kelp farmer, growing old.
Now, we didn't exactly talk them into it. We just came up with a couple good ideas to address some concerns. So what are those concerns? Turns out bull kelp doesn't grow all that well using standard kelp farming practices. Now, I might be a few folds short of a frontal lobe, but when you think about how it grows in the wild, it kind of makes sense. Ugh. First off, in the wild, bull kelp competes for rocks to grow on at about 15 to 25 feet below the surface at mean low tide. And throughout the season, the tide comes down and up, creating an undulation of nutrients and sunlight. And as the seasons change from winter to spring, sunlight increases and so does the nutrients, causing the bull kelp to grow much faster until it finally reaches the surface at mean low tide, in which case it's pretty big and delicious. So what's the issue? Well, there's a few issues, 3 that we're hoping to shed some light on. First, the undulation. One of the most predominant ways of farming kelp is the standard surface array, and it is tethered to the surface through a system of buoys, anchors, and lines. And what I mean by tethered by the surface is that it moves up and down with the tides. The depth of the water that it's in never really changes, thus negating that undulation. Second, quarters can be cramped. Bull kelp in the wild has to compete for space on rocks, causing it to be a little bit more sporadic underwater. When planting bull kelp with a continuously seeded string on a line, there's not much for it to compete with. And so the bull kelp just grows pretty much on top of each other, creating a mess of twists and tangles that cause a lot of issues when you're harvesting. Not to mention, it makes the line super floaty when all the bull kelp is super small. Which brings me to the third issue. It floats a lot. I've heard estimates of somewhere around 5 to 6 pounds per foot. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but on a 200-foot grow line, we're talking about 1,000 pounds of buoyancy. Now, while you can grow bull kelp on a standard surface array, it's just not optimal. You end up having to add a bunch of weight throughout the season, and when it comes time to harvest, you got to take it all off. It's a pain in the ass. So what are we going to do about it? Well, a few things. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not a scientist. This isn't going to be a published study. It's merely just to add to the pool of information to help farmers grow better kelp. First, we're going to try and do a comparison between a standard surface array and a benthic array. Both arrays will move through the water column. The surface array will be from 5 to 30 feet below the surface of the water, while the benthic array will be from 5 to 30 feet below mean low tide. Second, we're going to do a comparison on a continuously seeded line versus a spaced seeded line. We're hoping the spacing will reduce the amount of plants on the line, helping it to become more manageable. And third, we're going to try something that hopefully will address all these issues while being easy to outplant and harvest. We're calling it the People's Long Line. A long line with a series of weights and monkey fists with an anchor on each end. We're hoping that we're not only able to deploy and seed the array at the same time, but also to harvest and recover the array at the same time as well, saving a lot of time. Also, this array is kind of designed around the use of commercial fishing equipment, so this should help other fishermen kind of break into the industry a bit easier. And this is just a quick video that we hope gave you a better understanding of what we're trying to do with these grant funds. We're hoping to make this a series so you can follow along with all of our trials and tribulations as we build out the arrays, deploy them, seed them, monitor, and harvest. And we'll see what we come up with, see what worked, see what didn't work, and hopefully add to the pool of knowledge. Let me leave you with this, a riddle that we're constantly battling. What kind of window always shows a nice day outside? Eat some kelp.